Very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now I'm going to ask Miss Isha Johansen. So you heard earlier from the FIFA president, but I'm very excited to introduce Ms. Johansen because not only is she a FIFA council member, she was the first female FA president in Sierra Leone and until recently the first in the continent of Africa. So can we ask Ms. Isha Johansen to come and join us?
Thank you. So, dear Executive Secretary, Madam Patricia, in absence, and Prince Albert Monaco, dear delegates, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you. This is a superb platform. I'm extremely honored to be invited to talk to you today about climate change and football. As a FIFA Council member, for every step that we take into making global developments and changes in football globally, we always keep the planet or the protection of the planet in mind. Before we go further, I'd like to just share something which is personal. And that is that in this room and everywhere since the summit started, I think we're all together with one goal, one vision, one aim. And that is to protect our climate. That is to come together to see that all these devastations and all that we're hearing, it isn't just fiction, it is a reality. Now, I come from a country where we've had the most beautiful country, I think, in the world, and certainly in Africa, Sierra Leone, tiny as it is, but it's an absolute paradise. Unfortunately, we have not been making pretty attractive headlines, you know, with this brutal civil war that we've had and the Ebola, and of course, now what I want to share with you is in 2017, the region mudslides, where over 1,000 people, and children, including children, homes, were destroyed. And this was as a result of, one could say, there was corruption. One could say people were allowed to settle in areas where they shouldn't settle, heavy rainfalls, the failure to protect our forest reserves in the mountains, soil erosion, everything that we're talking about today. And before then, I'll be honest in saying that, of course, like most people, heard about climate change and the potential, devastations that it would cause. Didn't pay that much attention. Why? Because it wasn't at my doorstep. But in 2017, like I said, woke up one morning and 25 minutes away from where I stayed, it was horror, daylight nightmare, where children were off to school, people going about their daily business, and the mountains just opened. And within, I kid you not, 10 minutes, over 1,000 people dead, homes sunk. And it was like a movie. And from where I live, right at the top, you could see. I have a football team. It's a Premier League club now. I founded in 2004, and that was not, I didn't buy a Premier League club. These were actually kids that I took under my wings, in the area, community kids that were orphaned from the Civil War. And so it's a long story, but anyway, took them in my wings, educated them, and put them through the football sessions. And some of them have gone to Manchester City, Chelsea, etc., etc. And that was how I came into football governance. Now, the point I'm trying to make is some of these kids, a lot of the kids that died that day, that went missing, they were actually playing football on one of the grounds that I scouted some of these boys 16 years ago. So it's a very personal thing to me. I know now that this is not just fantasy. It's not people wanting to make noise. This is a reality. And I am very happy that today, with what I see, and I am also part of that change, that we're not going to sit down and wait for it to happen at our doorsteps for us to pay attention and to know that we need to do something. And for those of you who have not experienced what we've experienced, well, thank God for that, and you pray for it not to happen. Hence the rapid, intensive change that I see going on. Climate change and its impact is undoubtedly one of the most pressing challenges of our time, if not the most critical, and it requires each of us to take immediate and sustainable climate action. Last year, the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, outlined 11 key goals for FIFA to make truly global in his vision 2020 to 2023. A game that is so powerful and popular around the planet cannot be played at the highest level in only a few regions. It has to be truly globalized, popularized, and democratized for the benefit of the entire world. In understanding the threats that climate change poses to making football truly global, President Infantino included firm commitments to protecting the environment and to harnessing the power of football to address the global challenges of the ongoing changes in Earth's physical environment. We recognize the huge importance of delivering sustainable competitions, and for many years, FIFA has been taking steps to measure, reduce, and offset its carbon footprint at the FIFA World Cups, whilst working together with the tournament hosts and our partners to ensure that we meet international standards for environmental protection. FIFA was very proud to become the first international sports organization to join the UNFCCC Climate Neutral Now campaign. And we placed our biggest tournaments, the FIFA World Cup, at the heart of our pledge. We have worked tirelessly to measure, reduce, and compensate the greenhouse gas emissions created through the delivery of these mega events. I thank President Infantino for his earlier address to the COP26 summit, in which he referred to how earlier this year we published the carbon footprint of the FIFA World Cup 2020, together with the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy in Qatar. We are committed to making the next major tournament fully carbon neutral. Our carbon offsetting portfolio will continue to be composed of verified emission reductions from projects across the world and the UN certified emission reductions from the Clean Development Mechanism. Next year's FIFA World Cup in Qatar will be another milestone for delivering mega events with sustainability at the core. From dismantleable stadiums to harnessing the power of technology for environmental benefit and greener transport solutions. This will be an environmentally friendly competition. All stadiums are being delivered to the benchmark set by the Global Sustainability Assessment System for Sustainable Buildings. The Ahmed bin Ali Stadium was built by recycling 90% of materials from the previous stadium on the same site, while surrounding trees and vegetation were retained and replanted. The Rasabu Aboud Stadium is the first fully dismantleable stadium in the history of the FIFA World Cup. After the World Cup, the stadium will be completely dismantled, with the parts used to build sporting facilities in Qatar and abroad. But even all of this is still not enough. It's not enough for FIFA. For at this critical moment in time, we need to accelerate and intensify climate action. And as the FIFA president announced today, FIFA has developed a comprehensive climate strategy which continues to put our intention into action. FIFA is resolutely committed to investing substantial resources towards helping FIFA and football reach the ambitious yet thoroughly necessary objectives and principles of the UNFCCC Sports for Climate Action. These being to reduce emissions by 50% by 2030 and to reach net zero by 2040. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to do more. This is not the first time, or we're not just starting now. In 2016, FIFA was one of the first of the sporting institutions, establishments, to team up with the UN, with the UNFCCC. Football has the power to radically shift mindsets on climate change and mainstream climate action. And these are the reasons why we urge our stakeholders, particularly our football fans, who are our major stakeholders, to join us in working towards changing the mindset and seeing what it is that we can do together as a team. More than 3.5 billion people watched the World Cup in Russia in 2018, and with 1.1 billion tuning in to watch the women's football in France in 2019. We have a huge, a massive, attentive and receptive audience. And with this audience and this platform, we can amplify key messages that will help to educate fans on climate change and encourage them to play their part in protecting the planet and this beautiful game. There isn't much more that I can say than what has already been said by FIFA President Infantino. But what I would like to add is we are all players in this massive big stage. One of my favorite authors is Shakespeare, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. And that is what I see FIFA, and that is what I see all of you, and that is what I see the whole world is one big stage. The planet is who and what we want to protect, not just for us. I heard the Queen mention also, it isn't for us because most of us will be dead gone by then. It's for our children and our children's children. FIFA is committed to continuing to do more work with your organizations, with all other organizations, and like I just mentioned, with our partners. You only have to look at when Ebola hit. We had our stars that came on board to amplify the messages for Ebola, to help the FIFA for 11 fight against Ebola. They were there, FIFA for Health. So all I can say is good luck. We are with you, always with you, for the beautiful game and for our beautiful planet. May God protect us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Ms. Johansen for a very powerful address. And thank you so much for bringing your personal experience of climate change and of being a Premier League owner. We don't have many of those in the room.